page. I'd like to call the meeting of the town council to order. If you would, please stand for the invocation, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Our God, we thank you for this day, the opportunity to serve. We ask tonight those things that we say and do would be kindly affection one to one another, and that we would do those things that's in the best interest of this community. Help us with all wisdom in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Jonathan. You want me to put you on speaker? Okay. Okay, all right, hold on. The engineer is going to listen.
Okay. Okay, we have our packages. We've had an opportunity to read the minutes and look at the financial reports. If there are no additions, corrections, or deletions to that, we will entertain a motion to approve the agenda and adopt those documents. I did not again see, and I know Chief may speak to us in a few minutes, but I did not again see minutes.
I emailed her, but I didn't get any.
Okay. Okay. With the exception of the fire department minutes and the consent agenda, the chair would accept the motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Walsall?
No.
Ms. Rattenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Okay. Sheriff, would you like, I don't know what your schedule is, and I'm certainly not trying to rush you.
No, it's tight, and I
Okay.
appreciate the opportunity. I just owe this board an apology. We opened up a third EMS station, I guess a week ago, might have been 2 weeks ago. I lose track of all the time. So the invites, you all should have been invited, and the invites was put in the hands of my staff, and like the old saying goes, don't expect what you don't inspect. And the ball got dropped. I think, I'm not so sure they didn't drop the ball with some of the county. I think some of the county officials knew about it. Nonetheless, none of them showed up, which is fine. But we are ecstatic. I think the community is overwhelmed with excitement that we've got an ambulance now based out of Wausau. I know we certainly are. It's going to drastically improve on our response times. But we're here, and hopefully we're here to stay. And that's it. You know, like I said, that was put in the hands of the notifications, especially with this board, because we were here, was put in the hands of a couple of staff members, and the ball got dropped. I'll never forget. Probably about 3 years ago, we do the graduation, the correction and the law enforcement graduation ceremony is held. It's a pretty large event attended by several people where they graduate. They do the graduation for all the correctional officers and law enforcement. And I can remember the guy, you all know who he is. I won't call his name, but the guy that was over all of that and the director, I could tell he was in a panic. Paul knows what I'm talking about. He was in a panic, and he started getting delayed. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And this boy goes back. Well, I've been here 32 years. Me and him go back for about 30 of those 32 years. He said, I thought my staff invited the superintendent of schools and the school board. They thought I'd done it. I'm like, so nobody invited them. He said, no. He said they didn't get notified that we was doing this graduation ceremony. So, knowing Kevin Cruz the way everybody knows Kevin Cruz, all I can do is laugh at him. It was the funniest thing to me. And he's a good friend of mine, and I got tickled over that. So, he was sweating bullets, and everything was fine. They understood. But rocked on there, I think about a month or two had went by, and he had another major hiccup. I can't remember what that was, but he had another major hiccup, and he said, me and him was talking about it one day, and he was pretty stressed out over it. He said to me, I think this is going to be worse than me forgetting to invite the superintendent. And the superintendent of schools is his boss. And he said, this is going to be worse than me inviting the superintendent of schools and the school board. I thought about it. I'm like, no, it ain't either. I said, that was worse. So again, my apologies. The ball got dropped. Again, we are proud to be here. They're proud to be here. I think they told me the first 2 days that they were here, somebody brought by fruit, somebody brought by cabbage, somebody brought by collards or something. So they are keeping them fed over there, and that's what a small community is all about, and the country life. But again, yeah, thank you for letting me go first. We're coming to Wausau. You know, we've started our what we call fun night, Washington County Sheriff's Office fun night, or community night, or whatever we're calling it. And those things have really been big hits. We've done Camel's Park below New Hope, and in between Ebro and New Hope, and we did Vernon. So I don't know our schedule off the top of my head. I don't know what, but we're going all over the county, and of course Wausau is on our schedule. They've been really big hits. If you don't know what it is, we put the bill on several inflatables, bounce houses, the big slides and everything. We cook hot dogs, we cook popcorn, and I've been calling them snow cones. I seen one of our press releases today, and I think my staff called it shaved ice, so I've been saying snow cones, but I don't know what the difference is, but it's shaved ice. And of course all that's free. It's been great community events for us, and like I said, we appreciate y'all letting us come to Wausau. I'm assuming somebody's talked to y'all about it. I hope my staff has talked to somebody about it. But we'll be here. I just don't know when, but we'll go. I think we had 7 events, and we throwed another one in, which is tonight up in Chipley, so that'll make 8 events, and they've been received very, very well. And again, thank y'all. I'll get out of your hair, and like I said, I got another event to go to. But again, I apologize for that ball getting dropped, but we're here, and if I got anything to do with it, we're here to stay, and we're proud to be here.
And I'm sure I speak on the council, but the community, that we're proud to have you here.
Yeah.
And we wish you the best. And if you get the fruit and cabbage and collards, then you can use that. Use my car.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Well, the community's already been good to us.
I heard back from the Campbell Park event, and it was positive.
It was a hit.
Yeah.
And the 2 that we've done already, which is only 2 there in Vernon, rain has threatened both of them, and we've really had big turnouts. I think we give away probably close to 200 hot dogs, several bags of popcorn. I don't know. We're not counting it. Well, we did count the hot dogs, because we're trying to figure out. We don't want to run out. We're trying to figure out how much to keep cooked, and both events we wound up having to cook more, that's a good. We love that problem, you know. We love that, but we'll be here, and y'all be sure to come by, and you can eat on us, and it's just been very well received from each community so far that we've been in. But again, I'll get back on the road, and thank you for your time and allowing me to speak to you just a minute. And as always, if y'all need anything, I'm just a phone call away.
Anybody here?
Anybody got anything for me while I'm here?
Thank you for coming.
All right, thank y'all. Thank you.
Be sure to do a timeout. Would you see if there's any batteries on it? I'm on the red light. Try that one. Thanks, sir. All right, Mr. Sims, are you still with us?
He basically was just gonna listen in.
Oh, okay, I thought,
Yeah, he had planned to be here, but the proposals are next month at the April meeting for one of the projects, so he's coming that month.
okay. John, are you you're just listening, or you want to say something at a later time? Okay. All right. Okay, we don't have anyone signed in for the non-agenda audience? It doesn't look like. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Okay, the first thing under mine is surplus equipment. Since Garrett has come, we've been looking around in the area around here, and there's lots of stuff. And so if it's okay with the council, we want to start creating a surplus list of stuff maybe that we could take to the auction, or we could come back to you, see if we could get rid of, or y'all could tell us the history where we need it. For instance, in the back over there's a bunch of lights, like ball field lights, that the grass is growing up over, and I'm sure y'all all know the history. I don't know if we're going to use them or if we're going to not use them, but there's a lot of stuff back there that just seems to be laying around. So if it's okay with the council, we want to try to start creating a list and then get it approved by y'all to see what we can do with some of it. We also have, as they're replacing the new fire hydrants, they're bringing the old ones back here. There were already some old ones back here. And so stuff's just gathering up back there. But we'll bring an itemized list to the council if that's the way y'all normally do it. I don't really know how it works. But
I don't know that they've ever done that. That I can remember.
I won't say as big as the file is. We don't have a precedence in it. Could you, discussion, those things are surplus and operable. We could take those to the auction. We do have a history doing that. Those old fire plugs, I don't know if there's any value to that at the auction, but we could create a place where we got scrap and have scrap. Yeah, and those scrap pickers, just put it out there for bid, they can come bid on it. I think, well, you clean it up back there.
yeah, okay, we'll just work on it and come back to the council when we see what's back there, get the grass cut down. The next item is just to let you know about the forestry grant that was received by the town. It's a 50-50 grant for 3 radios. There is a chance that the town won't have to meet the 50% match. There may be some money out there, according to Justin Leach, the fire coordinator in the county. He won't know that though until the radios are received. So the town may not have to pay the 50-50 part of it. If we do at most, it's going to be $2,274. The grant's already been sent and approved, and this is the approval letter that's in your packet under the word grants. It should be under the grants tab.
Over the years, that's been good for videos, breathing apparatus and things like that. They're not very big grants, those of them aren't. There's all we get. Good about our fire department. Did you find that?
Found it. So that's just to let y'all know that that grant was written and approved, and the radios have been ordered. Right. The next thing under letters is a letter from the Vernon High School project graduation under the letters tab, asking if the city would like to donate, or the town would like to donate the project graduation for Vernon High School. This one's for Vernon High School.
Did we end up giving anything for Chipley when they asked?
Yeah, we give $100.
Was it 100 or 250?
I don't remember because it was kind of left up in the air if we
I remember the
could,
discussion.
if we were able.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look. Well, I never did do anything with that, so I'll need to bring that back. I think it was 100. Pretty sure it was 100.
Well, we did make a motion to give 100. I remember that. Maybe
I remember.
one of the smallest amounts probably y'all ever given. I
I remember the discussion was, they had their request in first, and it's not always that way. They both had,
We would-
if we wanted to do, if we did one, we would want to do the other one when the time came.
Yeah. Back then, we were sort of in a budget line, we was in the red a little bit at that time. But,
Well, see, this is gonna be their last night, things like that, we'll be about done for this class of you know, people, but I always think about what Johnny Burke said, what we do for them now, that looks like we want to go on the hill or do something for them, you know. Our budget is probably slim, but I always hate not to do something for children, and I know these are probably beyond the stage of children, they're children to us, but how hard to find those minutes.
I don't know time.
If we took action to, and I'm just suggesting, if we took action to do whatever we did for shipping, and let her follow up through.
Yeah, that'd
Would
be-
somebody make that motion?
I'll make that motion,
Okay.
that we do the same thing we did for Jim.
Now, we have a motion to a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Rathburn?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Okay. The third item is under personnel, and it's some changes, or I've been looking through the personnel policy just so I could get clear exactly what our personnel policy reads. I highlighted or added words in red for a little bit of clarification, and I don't know if the council wants to go through it all, if y'all want to take it and read it, and we'll come back at another time, but there was nothing in our policy, personnel policy that indicated what a full-time employee was. It did talk about part-time employees, but there was nothing that said what a full-time employee was. So the red under full-time is what I added. Any person who works 32 to 40, but we can change it to whatever the council wants it to be. And then the part-time would be anyone who works 32 or less, or whatever one you want to be. What it said was any person who works less than the normal work week established for the position in which he or she is employed. I wasn't really sure what that meant.
Pretty vague.
And then at the bottom under recruitment, just to add online employment sites, because that's the way I advertised. And so just some minor changes in here to try to clean it up a little bit, so that I was clear. On the overtime pay and policy, which is about 3 or 4 pages over, it talks about an employee who's required to work beyond 40 hours in any work week shall receive comp time or equal time off. And all overtime must be approved by the mayor, except in an emergency, which will be paid at 1.5 times the rate of pay. So I wasn't sure if that's the way we'd always done. If you work more than 40, you only get comp time.
We give comp time, and I hadn't read this a long time. I got mine out because we suggested back at the end of the year that we would look at charter and some things like that, but I don't think that's going to comply with FSLA. That's a Fair Labor Standard Act.
That's what I was wondering.
If you tell him that my job is 24 hours a week, I'm a full-time 24-hour-a-week employee. I think Fair Labor might say that 40 hours is full-time, and in fact, like, we just need to be make sure we comply with that, because the hardest cases to win are going to be employment cases. One of the harder cases to ever win, if you ever had to go to court, is going to be that. We've done it many times, and it's maybe sometimes take to have. And overtime, comp time, you can do it in comp time, but it's 1.5 hours per hour, just like your wages is 1.5, your comp time is 1.5. That's it. So if you work 4 hours overtime, you get 1.5 times 6 hours, you get 6 hours comp time.
Does it work that way?
So
I didn't know that.
that's your federal law. Now, I stand to be corrected. I hadn't done this in a long time. Mr. Parker might need to advise us on that.
Right.
But- And there's exempt and non-exempt employees. Exempt employees, you can work them all you want, you don't have to do anything else. And actually, they were kind to us. I was administrative, and I got hour for hour. I could have gotten that, but those that work for me, they got 1.5. And,
I thought it was hour for hour.
yeah, we can make it be what we want it to be in some cases. She wouldn't be easily in because, you know, you have to supervise so many people and work so many hours or make so much money, something like that. But we could say, Lynn, you give hour for hour, 345 hours from now, you can take 5 hours off some of the time, something like that. But I looked at the things you got over there, and I really hadn't in a long time.
And we probably do need to get Jeff to look at them. I had highlighted and read in purple some of the things that I had questions about, just reading it blind, basically, just,
And one of the things I said to Lynn, when I got my book, when we looked at it, one of the things is that about benefits, that's, when we were all working, those were important to us. But you're not required to give anybody anything but wages. It's good if you can give them insurance, but, and now with the Obama plan, I don't know that that's even right in, but you're not required. Again, just historically, we worked years and years without insurance. Then we got insurance, and then we lost insurance, and then we got it back. Depending on what the budget was on any given year, whether we had insurance or didn't. So we need to make sure about all of our benefits, whether it's insurance or leave time. This one bothers me. Since I've read it, it didn't bother me before apparently, but since I've read it, it bothers me a little bit that you might have a 24-hour employee and they get 8 hours a month in leave time. That's a pretty good leave benefit. Yeah, everybody wants to work for us.
and a few pages over, it talks about travel expenses, and it says how travel will be paid, but it doesn't say what the rate is. And so that was one of the things I wanted to try to clear up. I wrote in red, be paid the travel mileage rate approved for state employees at the time. I didn't know the town usually followed the state rate,
I think.
but it's not clear here exactly how much they get paid, so. If y'all could take it, maybe I could send it to Jeff and see what his thoughts on it are, so that we can just make it very clear.
Jeff, what's the council pleasure? Do you want to look at it? We may, each of us may come up with something and just tell Lynn, add this in for Jeff to look at, something like that. But I think we've covered some important things.
Not real sure about that 32-hour part-time. Hours, I think, is a little less than that for part-time. I'm not real sure.
See, I don't know either. It doesn't say in there, so it's not real clear.
I think Margaret told us, and we trusted her opinion. She kept up with all this stuff, that you could be 32 and qualify for benefits, and I think that by that it was insurance. But I think now, as far as she's 28, but she qualified for insurance. So we don't want to, if they qualify, we want to give them everything we can. But I'm like being about.
I'm not really sure, but I think it's 28 or more hours you're available for benefits.
Okay.
You know, it's 40 hours, 28 to 40 hours.
If you watch the news on Monday night, there is a move on Congress to go to a 4-day work week.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Where was they at when I needed them?
And I'm good at whatever the council wants. I just want to clean it up just a little bit to,
That's good. I bet you looked
so
at
that we
it.
can look at it. And I handed Garrett one of the personnel policies when he first hired, and he looked through it and had some questions. I'm like, we probably need to clean this up just a little bit.
What shall we do?
Do some more research on it.
Maybe we'll have to check with Jim.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ms. Shirley?
I agree, check with Jeff.
Would you do that?
Yep.
Send him what you've already done,
Okay.
and then just take a look at the rest of it, see anything that we're out of compliance with. I remember the judge looking down over the bench one day and said, who better to obey the law than them that made it? So we got to obey our own laws. Okay?
The third thing, the fifth thing was office hours. Marcy's decided that she wants to go to 20 hours a week. I had been looking at and redoing the job description, looking at the job description a little bit because the council had made her deputy clerk, I guess, at some point. And she and I were talking about some different job duties. And so as I was working on that, she began to think about it. She came back to me and said that she really didn't want additional job duties. She wants to stay as the billing clerk and go down to 20 hours a week. And with that, she's able to get on her husband's insurance plan. It's going to cost them about $200 a month, and she wants the council to pay that so that she wouldn't incur any expense of her own. So I told her I would bring it up to the council and see what y'all wanted to do.
So she wants to cut her hours because she don't want to work.
But she just don't want some of the duties.
What were the duties that she refused to do?
Reading meters, she doesn't want to have to read them manually. She has a very big fear of lizards and spiders and stuff like that. And so on our unread meter list, which I think I've looked at before, the computer system reads the meters, but we have some, there's probably 8 or so in the community that it won't read for whatever reason. And we're getting on those right now. I had the meter guy out last week, and he came and did some in the field training to try to figure out what's wrong with them. But those meters have to be read manually. So you have to go out there, take the thing, lift the box up, read the meter, put the lid back on it. And so she just says she can't do it.
That's not the maintenance man's job? Margaret never had to do it.
Margaret says she always read it.
Yeah,
she always did it.
She read the meters like that?
Yeah,
She did.
she always read them.
She read them manually until we got these new ones.
Yeah, read them manually. So basically, stuff like that. She said she doesn't want to be in the field at all. She does not want to have to be in the field. She doesn't want to turn water on or off. Which now that we've got Garrett, it's not going to be as bad, but sometimes she's here longer than either he or I on some days. And we have people that pay their water bill at $2.45 to get their water cut back on, but she doesn't want to go turn water on and off. And so she's just terrified.
Who's going to do it if she don't?
I'm going to have to shift it off to somebody else. Yeah, I'm hoping by the time we get to the summer, we can hire a summer OPS person or something. In the meantime, either Garrett will do it or I'll do it.
That's what I say, you already done something.
Yeah. So I'll shift some of that over to him, and then again, in the summer over to a summer worker. But
I don't know about y'all, but I never got to pick and choose what I wanted to do and didn't want to do in any job I work at.
the job description I was looking at, she and I were discussing, I brought it just to, and it was the changes in red, but this front and back too. Was just like on number 4 was to read the meter both electronically and manually. Before it just said read the meter. But when we came to where we had to start reading them manually, that's one of the things she just says she cannot do. So, and that she wants to go to 20 hours a week and only have to do the utility billing clerk job description. That's what she wants to do. And so that would be reading the meters once a month on the computer system, and then taking payments and sending out bills. That's basically the things that she wants to be able to do.
What's in black is what it currently is.
Right.
The red is either an addition or
Right.
extension or something. Yeah.
Right.
Well, number 4 already says that she will read and process the bills, read the meter, process the bill.
And
And on the back it says we will be required to perform other job-related duties as needed.
And I think there was a little bit of confusion because I guess when she was hired as the utility billing clerk, which it said on 4 says read the meters, but she said she was never told she might have to go in the field and manually read them. So that seems to be a different function or whatever. And turning water on and off, even putting out red tags is something that she does not want to do. So, in our discussion, when we were talking about that, you know, I tried to talk her out of the 20 hours a week and say, listen, this is all part of the function of the billing clerk, but she does not want to have to go into the field at all. So I told her I would come to the council, see if y'all want to reduce her hours, pay for her to get on her husband's insurance, and then I'll shift that job to
I have a problem with that too.
somebody or something else.
Why would we pay her to be on her husband's insurance?
Because we provided insurance, I guess, for her, and she feels like the city basically promised her insurance when she was hired. One of the issues.
We sat here a few months ago and said that insurance only to the end of the budget year. We may not have any insurance at all after that. So we don't have any insurance at all. Would that, even if we did it, would it end then as well? That we've not done it for everybody else?
Whatever else. The only issue I see with it is that Garrett's also on his wife's plan.
That's what I was fixing to say. So what's the difference in us paying her to be on her husband's or us paying Garrett to be on his wife?
I guess that's a policy that the council would need to decide, are we going to do that or not do it, or what. We could keep her at the 28 hours and the red things that manually read. If Garrett is around, certainly he will read the meters. But I don't want to have to take him off of the tractor because grass season's coming to go read a meter 2 streets over, or wait for him to come back in, or wait for him to stop what he's doing to turn water on. I mean, I know we don't have to turn water on right when people pay it, but I feel bad not doing it.
Well, they pay it late on Thursday evening, and you already gone.
I would be opposed to us having a policy that if we turn it on the next working day or something like that. For some of these, she told me about one recently, I think, I don't know how long ago.
Last week.
But like it was off for 3 weeks. Then they paid it and turned on within an hour. The next business day is good. If they come in here late on the evening, we're gonna call somebody in on Saturday and Sunday to turn their water on. If I'm going without water, I'm gonna be kicking and screaming just like they thought they are. And we don't, it's not necessarily that you punish anybody, but I think you get to it as quickly as you can, but you don't lay down on everything.
You know, if she just wanted to work, Marcia wanted to work 20 hours, I don't see nothing wrong with that. That would probably be good. That would save the town some money. And I don't know if I reckon we could make the rules to do it, pay $200 insurance. Even that would save, what, $800 a month right there. So, I don't know. I don't know if 20 hours a week would require paying any insurance now, but I'm just speaking, this is me. This is just one person, so.
If I understood you correctly, if I say something that you didn't say, please correct me. I think when I look at this and repeating what I think I just heard, I think what bothers me is that we got it's not just a billing clerk. That was changed before Margaret left. We didn't change this when you came, I'm sure.
She told me that the council had changed her job description with deputy clerk, but had never told her that her job duties would change.
They did.
That it would just be
They
billing
were,
clerk.
it was just a title thing. And, I don't know, with us having a part-time clerk, that all the work's gonna get done if the deputy clerk don't pick up some. If she's out, the deputy clerk ought to be able to do anything, with probably a few exceptions, the deputy clerk ought to be able to do anything. They need to be cross-trained with each other. And if all she wants to do is sit at the computer and generate a bill, and then take a minute when you come in, that's pretty good pay that we're giving, and not getting anything else out of it except just that. Actually, we don't even have to have somebody here to take the money. We've got enough ways now. We could just put on our next statement or send out a letter that says that payment can be cash, check, or money order in an envelope. Well, not cash. I don't know if we're gonna start putting cash in a drop box, and I don't know how many people pays by cash, but we've got enough ways now that we don't need somebody just be sitting there 8 hours a day for 3 or 4 days waiting for somebody to come in and bring a water bill. They could put these books together, they could type minutes, they could do any kind of research that we ask for from time to time, all like that. I think getting more out of the job description is important too. And I don't know anybody, she said she wasn't told that that would be part of it. I don't know if I did those interviews or not. Did Margaret do those interviews, or did we do them, or you don't know? Yes, you weren't here. Did we do those interviews? We did it here. But I don't know what we said to her about whether or not this was part of it, but she didn't ask us either. We asked her, did she have this? Or we usually do. I'm sure we did that night. Did you have a copy of the job description? Can you do everything on it? That's kind of standard questions that we ask. And I'm sure she said yes.
And it list may require occasional field work too.
No, that's what I wrote in red. Yeah.
You're adding that to it?
The red is what I added. It said work is usually performed in the office setting. That's what the job description said.
But still, my thing is, it's not something that she has to regularly do. And really, the only reason y'all was having to do it was because we didn't have a maintenance person. I feel like if you're gonna work here, you need to be able to do a little bit of everything. Would it be my favorite thing? No, but I've had lots of jobs that I didn't particularly care for. But, you know, they're paying you and that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's good.
I mean, you don't get to pick and choose what you do when you're employed by somebody. And I feel like we've been very accommodating as far as hours and allowing her to work through lunch and, you know, setting back the time for the office to open to accommodate her.
Accommodate lunch hour,
Yeah,
lunch half hour.
but that's just my opinion.
You know, I'm gonna just say this, we hired Marcy did, or Marcy, she was gonna learn what Margaret did and then take over. But she didn't want it, so we made a mistake right there to start off with. You know, that she said, I don't want it, I'm not capable, or I feel like it's too much of a load on me. But I mean, she didn't.
I think she kind of toyed with it, that she didn't want it, then she did want it, then she didn't want it, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
And we can leave her.
I think when we can accommodate and it not bother what we expect or what we need to have from employees, any employee. And for the most part, we know what time the bills or the meters are read and all like that, and we could just say on this certain day that, Garrett, you can read these 8 meters or something like that, we could do that, and that would keep her out of the field mostly. An emergency may not, we might accommodate that. But I'm more concerned about saying I'm not gonna do something else because I'm this, or I'm not gonna, tail wagging the dog syndrome or something like that. If it's on this job description, I think we ought to be able to expect that she's gonna do whatever it is, and these knowledge and skills abilities, she's brought in all those things on her application. She worked at FSU, and I'm not sure what all, she apparently has skills.
And I don't doubt that. My thing is I have a problem with you saying you're not gonna do something
Does
when
she
you're
have-
hired to do a job.
Does she have any problem reading the meters as far as riding in her car?
No.
We could, well, like Roger said, we might get Garrett to read the meters on a certain day, then make 8 that we can't read, you know.
Yeah, that's on the job description I wrote, may be required as needed or post turn off notices. We try to put the red tags out within 24 hours of the cutoff. And so, that's just basically driving to somebody's house, dropping the tag off and leaving.
I think she ought to do what you tell her to do. Lynn, you defer, she needs to be under you and she needs to do what you tell her to do. That's my opinion, but I mean.
I think we asked you that when we hired you about
Yeah.
the supervisor, and I'm sure that we asked her, even when Mark was here, about being able to do these things. I agree with you.
I
on that
might
part.
not agree with my boss, but if he's the boss, he tells me what to do. I may talk about it a little later that I don't agree with that, but we can't pick and choose if we are under somebody else's supervision. We can't pick and choose what we need to do and want to do. I mean, that,
And lowering your hours to keep from having to do it, I mean, I don't think that's something we should keep having to revisit, changing the hours.
I know this post, but we have to deal and work in the open, and, this time last year, when we was getting ready to hire another person, and we did eventually hire our own person, it wasn't but just a short while. We had some of this same stuff presented to us in a different demeanor. I think if we talk to Denise today, and I have seen her on a few occasions recently on her other job, and she's very happy with it, she would still tell you that she might agree that she was not the right person, but some of the problems that festered in there was the same problem that we're talking about now. Telling her, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna do that, that's not my job, and things like that. That's not an attitude that I'm in favor of fostering when it says required to perform other job-related duties as needed. It was on there when she was hired. Now, how do we address her phobias? I don't know about that. I don't know if that's something that, I don't know about that. I always get defensive, I think, about discriminations or suits or whatever, kind of things like that. And just, is that a disability? I don't know. But there's some of these other things that don't have anything to do with frogs and lizards or working dogs. I think she gets I don't know how long it takes to run these a day and a half.
About an hour to read it, and then to print them out on the computer, probably half a day.
Half a day. But that's 2 more days if we can have something else that she can do in here because she's not working 40. See, we've already come down from the last 2 or 3 years when that part of that was Margaret working her way into retirement. We've already come down from 40 hours to 32 hours to 28 hours. Where do we quit? We wanted to open 5 days a week because 4 days a week wasn't getting the work done. And we just keep on backing it, we'll be back to not getting the work done again. What do we think? I agree with Mr. Carter. I think that for sure the attorney needs to look at this. And can you make him a tape of this discussion and let him see if there's any trails that we're starting down that's going to be potential problems, or if he has any advice on it. Again, just as one reference, our labor attorney said that county employment, city employment was an at-will position. We said that we can, our policy said we can dismiss up to 6 months with or without cause. We don't have to have a call like that. I have to call for a cause, but he said, don't have, what other discussion is there for tonight?
I think we need to, get Jeff to clarify it for us.
And that was your opinion.
I think we
You got
should
something
get
else?
Jeff, but I think, to be fair, Marcy should have been here.
Right.
I don't disagree with that.
I think we should have this at a time when she can be here.
And according to this, I don't know if you, I think we led this discussion. I don't think you set this up for us to discuss Marcy. I think that developed
Right.
from the thing.
I mean, the request from her was to go to 20 hours a week and then be able to get on her husband's insurance.
Is Mr. Carter supposed to be at the next meeting?
Yes.
Could we get this to him with part of the recording? And then ask Marcy to be at the next meeting?
Okay.
Let her be here, the attorney himself say
All right.
this.
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Ms. Rattenberg?
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, this is that.
Just a couple of other things is that the fire department is having their egg hunt this Saturday at 10:30 down at the Possum Palace. They've asked the city to provide cookies and drinks, which I think we've maybe done in the past. Just want to clarify that that's something that town wants me to purchase.
I'm pretty sure that I don't know if we did or not. I think probably came to Margaret and we probably did it, but I don't remember us ever voting on it.
I think we've always purchased that.
Just agree? Okay. Just want to make sure.
But Chief, is that right?
That's fine, or we can take it out of ours, so it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, has the town done it previously?
Yeah, Margaret's always provided it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know how many cookies and drinks it takes?
Becca's told me 200.
Probably 200.
Maybe
yeah.
about 200.
Yeah, the town's always done Easter and Christmas.
Okay.
When we have Santa, they'll have she's always made a bag with some candy and, some fruit gifts.
I need to get the fruit bags and stuff like that. I need to get that, but I didn't know.
Okay. I'll get that taken care of. The only other thing I had is that I wanted to know if any of y'all knew what the distance of the right-of-way is for mowing. Garrett's been out starting to mow around town, but he's unsure how far he's supposed to mow off the edge of the street.
Our rights of way is 60 feet except for Jackson, and it's 75, and we've abandoned 15 feet of it, I think all the way through.
75, I know my whole garden.
We already abandoned that, so you're right.
Hey, you ain't gonna complain.
And the reason
I don't know.
the reason I haven't had a lot of that one is when I worked with Edward Lewis, I crawled up under Miss Jenner Clemens' doorstep and said, corn stalk up under their porch.
So about 60 feet, or is it like 2 swipes of the zero turn mower?
Well, now, no, that's includes where the pavement is, 60 feet is included where the pavements are, so theoretically, you'd think it would be 30 feet from the center line on both sides.
Oh.
But some of these streets are all paved on one side of the right of way, you'll have ambulance right away here, and on the other side, you'll have 25 feet.
Okay, let me ask you a different way. How much do y'all want him to mow off the street? How many swipes do you want him to take? On the zero turn mower now?
I guess it's become my habit, I apologize for that, I'll speak first if you want to. I say do at least 2 swipes of that zero turn radius on each side right away until somebody tells us he's run over their prize petunia or whatever it is. They can do the first pass on, if it's all right with y'all, they can do the first, they can do two widths on the first pass, and we'll look at it, and we think it needs to do more, then do it then. Is that okay?
Okay.
Some of these will need to get, some of these will need to be more, on that back slope on 4th Street, or whatever we are here, 2nd Street. That back slope's gonna have to be done some, so that ditch can carry water, something like that.
Where's that?
Well, between the post office and is it Monroe, something like that, and where Mr. Brad Mercer's house used to be, and that ex house, all that. And the back slope is all messed up in there.
Is yours a good judge?
Well, he said he thought 2, but I was like, he's like, you know if it's 2? I'm like, I don't know what it is. So, okay, I'll tell him that. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything for the clerk?
I just noticed the water bills now, that is the best I've ever seen.
It's looking good. The collection reports, we're working hard.
That's very good.
That's great.
Working hard.
Okay. Mr. Park, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about this for the development fund.
Yep.
Is there any way we could get the development fund, or what we have to do to bring this book up to date? Just give us the 1990, let's bring it to 2024.
Oh, I'm sure we can do that.
Would you want to ask them about it?
Sure.
And I don't think we do much with this centennial, this just goes through 89.
Yep.
But some information could be got out of this book, the hearing in there.
Yep.
Okay. Sure, I'd be glad to.
We could, the only thing we could do that with probably is this historical thing, we could, but the centennial means 100 years, that's when we started to then, so that will always be a standalone.
Yeah, it's 1889, 1989.
Yeah.
So this will stand just like it is.
Okay,
But
sure.
that's the one we'd like to get updated.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Park? And while we're doing that, if we could line this up and have those pictures in the same, the year they served, and things like that.
And
that'd be great.
Council
I
pictures
think
is not up there.
Sir,
Any council pictures is not up there, we'll put them up.
try to find them. I think your mother may have done that originally, and then it was taken down because of the remodeling and everything like that. And I'm sure that I know that some of that's not in the order that they serve.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Park? That's all. Ms. Carter?
How's the maintenance man doing, besides mowing?
He's doing really well. Today he met with the rural water circuit rider, I think is what he's called. He came around and they worked. He showed him how to replace some of the meter issues. Last week or the week before, he rode with the meter guy that does the registers. He did some training with him. And so starting Tuesday, we're going to start replacing meters. Thinks he can do it. So 2 or 3 days he's worked with the construction crews because they hit a line literally every few days. And it's not their fault. They're looking at plans that have abandoned lines, and when they, the big one that we had to shut the water down this week, clearly on the plans it said abandoned line, which by the way, is the line that went by the man's house that was asking for the, remember on the main street of Wausau, you had the big water bill, and y'all said if I could find it, it went to the line. It's the same line. It undoubtedly runs from somewhere north of town and goes at least to this fire hydrant on First Avenue. Because Metric went to replace the fire hydrant on First Avenue and there's no way to cut the water off. So they still have not been able to replace that fire hydrant because they cannot find a water cutoff. It's the same line they hit in front of the Methodist Church this week that shows on the plans abandoned. We couldn't find any way to cut it off other than turn the water off to the town. So
how do we decide where those cutoffs are? Can we cut off, like, ideally, we ought to be able to cut off a block?
Right.
3 blocks?
Right.
And all like that.
That's what
So we in here, and we don't have one, how do we determine which way to go to put one on that line?
Well,
If we just put it back together, we still got the same problem that we got now.
yeah, Metric is putting shut-off valves on there for us, on the ones that they hit.
Okay?
So eventually we'll have some shut-off valves up and downtown. What we can't find out is where to cut it off altogether. Although now they've decided we're not going to be able to cut it off because it feeds the fire hydrant. The fire hydrant on First should have been connected to the main 4-inch line, but it wasn't. It stayed on a 2-inch line, and they can't connect it to now our 6-inch main till they can figure out how to cut the water off. And we've been everywhere in this town trying to turn it off. Mr. Register's been down. I've called everybody I can think of. We've looked at the plans. Metric's been down here. They're down here almost every day, literally looking at our plans. But I guess whoever put the last water system in did not take the lines up and didn't abandon them. They left water running through them somehow. But the only way we could turn that one off in front of the Methodist Church, which is that same line that runs down to the fire hydrant on First, was to shut the whole town off. Fix that because they bore through it with the boring rig. So it was a major thing. Get it fixed and then turn the town back on.
I don't remember the contractor, somebody calls his name, I remember it, but, that water line got the 2 ends in it. And we ought to be able to start someplace, if it did end someplace, start there and come back till it tees into something else or runs into something. If there's still water in it, it's on an active line somewhere.
Somewhere.
We need to go back till we find that next cutoff. And then if it runs this way, then we need to come down this one that we think is abandoned someplace and put a cutoff on that.
They've been looking. They have looked.
John's going to look. John, are you still there? Hello?
See, it shows. It
I
shows.
said John was going to check with Mitchell because Mitchell was the engineer on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the council didn't know until this time when Jimbo was down here for a week or 10 days digging next to the ball field down there. We had a live line over on Jefferson Street as well, and there was water all over the street over for a couple of weeks at least. And we found out that he was digging, and as far as me and Miss Carter there was another line that was the active line, but
Well, interesting enough, they were going to replace this fire hydrant right over here on 3rd. It's right here by 3rd and 77. When they deactivated it, the Tom Thumb's water cut off. And when they called, the guy's like, there's no way us deactivating the fire hydrant will cut the Tom Thumb water off. But it did. And it goes across 77 right up here at the post office, which is what they thought fed the Tom Thumb, which would be logical. So they had to create a jump box up here to get the Tom Thumb water home until they could get the fire hydrant. It's crazy.
do you know if at the end of the project, 25 or 27 or whenever it is, will we get a set of as-built plans that should identify?
I've asked for those.
We need to have that. Here, we need to have that.
Would Preble have it? Preble should have it on file.
Who?
Sir?
Preble residue area, they should have it on file.
Metric's doing it.
I know, but the original
Yeah.
was Dewberry.
Yeah. Metric is, you know, they brought me a set of plans about the size of that white paper right there, but the writing's so little, and that's what they're going off of. They're also finding some places on their plans that say replace the meter, and when they get there, there is no meter. So I don't know what happened to the meters or why they're not there, but, they're trying to get it right, but it's just,
Go back to your question, to your answer, Mr. Carter, about how's he doing. You talked about being installing meters. Now, they gave us some meters, rural water. So is this gonna be replacing these that we were talking about reading by hand?
that's what we're hoping, yes.
So
Actually,
that reduces that problem even further.
Yeah, the master meter company gave me some registers, because he came out and did some field work training with us, and he saw the difficulty we're having. So he gave me some new registers to put on some of them, and we're out trying to do those now.
That's good, because where they can always read it from the car, that should eliminate that problem altogether. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Carter?
No,
Did I move?
no.
Mr. Fortson? I've got one that come up since we've been sitting here. The gentleman that came first of the year, about a recreation program. Have we heard anything back from him?
Yeah, he was supposed to be at the next meeting. but
Yeah,
he
so
didn't
she
show
brought us
up.
back something like that.
No.
I've been asked this a couple times about it. You know, I think Vernon is probably over capacity of what they can manage. And actually, Steve mentioned it to me because he had said to us, before we had the stroke, that when the season comes, if we didn't have somebody, he'd do what he could to help us any way we could, or we didn't establish anything, so he couldn't help us now with the stroke. He probably can't do much, but he said that people coming in his place down there said, they wish we had something there and all that. And I just wonder if we get any kind of call saying, I wish we had some recreation in Wausau. I'm not hearing from parents other than the gentleman that came and talked to us that night.
Now, I asked myself that question sometimes. I don't get an answer. So, you know, but that's the way it is, so.
You know, we don't have some young ones in Wausau,
Yeah,
or it's gonna be a ghost town there.
It's gonna be, you're gonna
Yeah.
have chicken baseball.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Chief, did you want to, you're present, we missed you last month, do you have something you want to address this week? Let me ask you about the minutes, they're not coming, we're not
I'm
getting.
from that. I'm from that. It's, you know, we're volunteers, we do the best we can.
I understand,
Yeah, we'll give them to you.
yeah.
The last meeting was, we stuffed eggs, I can tell you, that was our meeting. We put tape on eggs to get ready for this. That
Yes.
was, so there really wasn't even a meeting, it was just, we come in, we went to work. As far as fires, we've been real lucky inside our district. We had one fire this past weekend. It was a camper trailer that was actually in our district. But other than that, we've been real lucky. Not going plastic or whatever. But yeah, it's been nice.
And you had a piece of equipment that needed some repairs, is that?
Our brush truck is limping. We're feeding it oil, but it's going to give up on us. I'm hoping we can get one more year out of it. We're not going to make the grant this year. It was just too much for the short period of time. But next year we'd like to, with the council's permission, of course, we go after a grant for another truck.
Anybody else in the audience to address the council tonight? Anything else from the council? Motion to adjourn?
Did you want to do the EDC?
Hmm?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, there's two things. I was just looking at what I wrote down, I got that. The Economic Development Council, Jeff Massey, County Administrator, worked hard to get a place at the table for the small municipalities. The EDC was primarily, it was chiefly heavy and chamber heavy and all like that, he did. And I think Ms. Palmer maybe went to a few meetings, but didn't continue. And then when I became the mayor, I was asked without being more professional, so I went. The first one I went to is where we first got the first direction, the first implication, anything that we may be able to get a store. If I say Dollar General, I don't know that it's going to be Dollar General with all indications. That's where we met, and through the EDC, we made calls, contacts, and then for a couple of years, the ball kind of rolled a little bit, and it looks like it may become fruition. It is a place for us to have a voice on some of the jobs, some of the development issues and things like that that comes. I got a call from Jeff the other day. We hadn't had one now. Mr. Everett was very involved in that when he changed jobs at the chamber, etc. It kind of fell to the side. I've been to one in the last 3 or 4 months, and I missed the last one. I think my wife was having her brother passed away. We was going to, her brother passed away. Jeff called me last week and really wants us to be there. And I talked to him, and I also went and talked to the chamber. And with the council's permission, Margaret also did some of this when it first organized a few years ago. But with council's permission, I'd like to appoint Lynn to represent Wausau on the EDC. She had experience while she was on the county board. She knows the funding issues and some things like that. She's here all the time and we really go. And the meetings probably last, long one, it would be a couple of hours, hour and a half, and it's every other month. So it's about half a dozen times a year. And she could bring back any reports, any pursuit we need to do, any grants, anything like that's going on. And with the council information, I'd like to appoint her. That's fine. Now, first, our next meeting is next Wednesday, and when I asked her if she would serve, I told her that I would go, and I told Jeff that we would maybe take this action tonight, that I would go and introduce her, and then after that, she'll be our representative on the EDC. Is that all agreeable with the council?
Yeah.
The other thing was that it apparently is a moot point now with this, with the new development that may be coming to us about alcohol ordinance. But I've asked Jeff, and I don't guess we've heard from Mr. Carter, I don't guess we've heard back from him, as to whether or not we need to have our own. We used to have one from inside the city limits. Everything is very compact here, and honestly, I have not had anybody approach me. I'm just remembering a few years ago when we had an altogether different council when I was beginning my career and all like that. But people didn't want to have a restaurant or something right next door to them where people could come and sit down. They didn't want to have a bar. They didn't have consumption on premises. Is the word I'm looking for. I don't know if that's the feeling of the town or the council. I dare say it's less the feeling of the town now than it was then. But do we need to do something about an ordinance for our town? There's hardly any place you can go with a town that's a mile and a quarter long, 3/4 of a mile wide. There's hardly anywhere you can go that you're not going to be close to a church or somebody's house. I know it said that the county would prevail if we didn't have one. I can show you a place. Y'all can't see this, but you got a house right here. And the license says it's 500 feet or whatever it is by the normal travel route on a straight line. I know where there's a place that you can, that driveway is like 200 or 300 feet long. You hit a county road, a state road, you hit a state road. You come down here about 50 feet, 75 feet, and there's a driveway that goes into this next house with a driveway about 200 or 300 feet long. And between the place where they selling alcohol and loud music and things like that and that house, it's probably not over 100 feet, but by the way of travel, it's 500 feet. I think we're going to have an ordinance that will be straight line distances. Put a line here and then a circle all the way around that, and anything within that circle, you can or cannot do whatever activity you're trying to regulate. And we need to, we'd like to discuss that.
Do we have an ordinance already on?
We had one, and what happened, and this is as far back as when the Tom Thumb Company, when they were coming here and that come up, we had an ordinance that prohibited it because it's supposed to two churches, it's within the 500 feet of two churches. And so that come up, and what had happened is the ordinance, according to our attorney at that time, the statute that our ordinance was based on had been repealed. He did not update the ordinance to the new state statute, and so the ordinance was no good, so they could come in, and of course they can only have a package here. It's not consumption on premise, they can only have a package. But that's, so I think a yes or no answer to your question would be no, we don't have one.
Well, the Tom Thumb says package, don't it?
They did.
Well, you know, it's something, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just right next door to that, there was a place that could they have applied for consumption on premise. You know, that was a restaurant several times over the years and things like that. So,
No, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know if you could enforce something like that anymore in the world we live in now. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. You know, we can do a lot of things that it's sort of about the same. We don't look at it that way, but sometimes, you know, I don't believe you can enforce that. I believe that our attorney would say we couldn't enforce that. I don't know, maybe a good question to ask him. We would like to do it, but I think that's my personal. But the attorney can probably answer that more than.
yeah, and I think that it could be, I think it could be enforced if it could be adopted. That's the question, is whether or not we can adopt one.
Well.
Because if it's a law, it can be enforced.
Well, there are a lot of laws we got around here sure ain't been enforced in the past.
They haven't.
Will.
They haven't been.
You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I better keep my mouth shut.
No,
I'm just saying we live in a world now. Well,
we ain't living in a
no, I'm just talking about, you know, there are a lot of things that are classified as sins, you know. We got restaurants, some people go in there and make a sin out of that, but I'm just saying, you know, some people handle it okay. I mean, you know, not that I don't like beer and that stuff, so it don't bother me. I'm just saying we live in a different world now. I mean, I don't see how we can enforce that.
okay. No.
That's just my opinion now. That's just my opinion.
And I think what I'm saying, just let me, don't confuse this about being sin or not sin.
Well,
It's
that's true.
about whether or not you want to live right next to somebody that's got a parking lot all the way around it, and people coming there drinking and.
I know what,
Ain't got nothing to do with sin and all like that. That's not, I'm not speaking from that perspective, but just.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
Mr. Bill,
Yes, sir.
got anything to address on that?
That's right. I agree with him, you know, we make it may not work.
Enforcement is not our responsibility.
Yeah,
That's the sheriff's department.
yeah. Well,
Well, if Tom Thumb can sell a package, what's the difference in the next person selling the package?
I ain't talking about package. Talking about consumption on premises.
I'm not for that.
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you.
Is it all right if we address it with the attorney and let him give us an opinion at least?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
That good, Attorney Eads, if you please add that to the, for the attorney. Did you have anything else for me that I didn't look at? Okay. All right, now is there a motion to adjourn? You did? You made it, and now is there a second?
I'll second.
Mayor.
Hey, I know this is out of order, but just before we go, we wanted to mention, Kent Smith Group, as we're, building our relationship in the community. We did sponsor all the prizes for the kids, for this weekend, the 3 different age groups at the Possum Palace, and we just want to throw out there that we are, we're willing to partner on other things, whether it be through the Wausau Development Club or other things to help benefit the town of Wausau as we continue to build that relationship. So we're here if you guys see where we can help in any way, just please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, and y'all always been supportive. You two individually, now you're Kent Smith, so corporately, we expect that you would do that, and we thank you for offering that as well. And don't forget, next week we'll have dumpsters here for the cleaned up Wausau. So if we can encourage anybody. Now last year, and I don't know with Gary just coming on if we can do it, get it out in time, but last year, anyone who had stuff, especially our older or disabled, they put it on the side of the road. They went around with the trailer and picked it up and brought it to our dumpsters. Can we do that again this year? And especially if somebody calls us and say, can you help me or something like that?
In the city limits only?
In
the city limits only?
In the city limits only and on the right of way only. We're not gonna do
Okay.
put it down the house or anything like that. Is that something we can do, or is it too late to try to get that in the mix? It's pretty late. We don't have a vehicle to get anything out there to folks, but,
We can get Garrett to do it. We can get Garrett to do it. We have a dump trailer. We have a tractor.
I know, but we can't get the word to the people.
We can, help with that. We have a story online, and what days are those?
It's all next week.
All next
It'll be
week.
here every day, right over here.
So we'll get that online. I didn't realize that, or I have my editor on it, but, we'll have it, we can get it online tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, we can have something, hey, it continues, this is continuing, have that in the paper, so I'm happy to do that.
Is it a week or 2 weeks?
1 week.
1 week, okay.
We did send out a newsletter that told everybody about the dumpsters being here, but we didn't offer to do any kind of
Right.
help or anything like that. And Paul, would you please help us as well, your medium?
Sure, absolutely. It's already on there, on your website as well.
Well, I started to say that's where I saw it a while ago, but I thought it was in the newsletter. Okay, now is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, go on. We stand adjourned.
Yeah, I got something.
I'm certainly in favor.